Hello and welcome to Quilting with Lori. My name is Lori Dickman, and today I have week number 43 of my 52-week series of scrappy blocks to share with you. This one is a great Independence Day or a patriotic block, and here it is, a real simple one to do. It's made of half square triangles and then one 6.5-inch square. And I do have a PDF that is attached in the description box below. Make sure that you grab that. The PDF gives you the instructions, and of course you can just follow along here in the tutorial, but it also has just a sample quilt, some idea. I always love to give an idea to you so that you can know how you can use that block. And I do just like to share with those of you who might be new to my channel, I have a tutorial video, and I'll have all of the links below in my description box, but it's a tutorial video that teaches you how to cut, sort, organize, and get your scrap stash ready to go so that you can make beautiful scrappy quilts. I have a corresponding book. This is the Techniques book. It's out on my website. Links also attached below. And then a corresponding patterns book. So between the two of these books, you're getting not only the techniques on everything you need to know to get your scrap stash cut, sorted, organized, and ready to use, but you're getting a total of 17 beautiful scrappy patterns that you can use to use up your scrap stash. So now let's take a look at how to put this block together. And I'm going to share with you, in the PDF, there are squares that you're going to need to pull of lights and mediums or lights and reds for the half square triangles. And they're all going to be 3-inch squares. You're going to need 14 3-inch squares of lights, 14 3-inch squares of mediums, which would be the red, and then one 6.5-inch dark square. And I've pulled some of those right here, and I've also made some of the half square triangles already. I have a Speedy Solutions technique that I use for making my half square triangles, and you've seen this many, many times. I'm simply taking a dark square and a lighter square. In this case, it's the 3-inch light and the 3-inch dark. I'm putting them right sides together. When I do my half square triangle technique, I do it all in assembly line fashion. So I pair them up like this, right sides together. I'll do all of them, and in this case I do all 14 at the same time. I would then draw a diagonal line from corner to corner on all 14 sets, and then I would sew a scant 1/4 inch on both sides of that diagonal line on my sewing machine, and again that would be done in assembly line fashion. And then I would cut them apart and square them up to create the half square triangles that you need that end up being 2.5 inches. Each of these needs to be squared up to 2.5 inches. That is really important. If you don't have those squared up properly, then your block is not going to go together properly. I need to get rid of some of these dog ears. I see I left some dog ears on there. I don't like those on my block, so I need to get rid of those. When you are constructing your half square triangles, you can either press them to the side, as I have done here. I've pressed them to the dark, and that way you could nest things as they go together, or you could certainly press it open here, and I've got you can press the seam open like that. I'm trying to finger press it here for you so you can see that. It will allow that seam to lay much flatter, which is nice. You could certainly do that. What I might suggest if you use that technique is to use a smaller stitch length, maybe a 2.0. Maybe if you're using a 2.5 or a 2.4, you might want to go down to a 2.2 or a 2.0, just to make sure that that doesn't pop out as you are quilting the quilt. So you're going to need a total of 14 pairs of these. When you cut them apart after they have been stitched, you're going to end up with 28 half square triangles that are light and dark. And you're only going to use 27 of them, so there's going to be an extra one. And I am going to be creating another video later today. Keep your eye on my channel, and you're going to see how I'm going to make 32 half square triangles, 32 2.5-inch half square triangles from a dark and a light. I started out as a fat 1/4, and I cut 11-inch squares from them. So I have an 11-inch light and an 11-inch dark, or a red, actually, in this case. And I'm going to show you in this video later today how to accomplish that. So keep your eye on my channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notifications button so that you'll know how to, so you'll see that video when it comes up. So here you will see that I have sewn some half square triangles together. I've got the light. I refer to this often as a dark because it's darker than this light, but really it's more of a medium. But it doesn't matter. You can use whatever values you choose to use for this technique. But what I have done is drawn the line, as you can see, diagonally, and I have sewn a scant 1/4 inch. And by that I mean a thread or two less than a 1/4 of an inch. And now I'm going to cut along that line. And I like to use the scissors because I like to cut from thread or from stitching line to stitching line, as you can see there. And what I'm doing there is cutting off those dog ears, so they are now gone. And then I will cut on the line. That's how I like to cut mine apart. You can certainly use a rotary cutter if you like, but with every pair of these, you are creating 2 half square triangles. So here we go. We've got 2 half square triangles. And I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of these. I'm going to cut from stitching line to stitching line, getting rid of the dog ear. Then I'm going to cut on the line itself, and we'll have a couple more half square triangles. So that's how you can do that. I am probably just going to go ahead and press mine to the dark side. Again, as I mentioned earlier, you can certainly press your seam allowances open, or you can press them to the dark, whichever works best for you. So I'm going to continue working with this, and then I'm going to lay out the block so you'll know how to put this block together. I'll be right back. Before I press my half square triangles, I am going to use my Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer, and I'm using the trimmer A, which has the 1/2 inch increments, because I'm going to trim up each half square triangle to 2.5 inches. I'm going to lay the stitching line here on the ruler, on the stitching line on the half square triangle, and I'm simply going to trim away on 2 sides here. I'm using a rotary mat, which is very helpful. And then the other thing that I love about this Clearly Perfect slotted trimmer is that there are these slots here in which you can cut off these dog ears here. So now this half square triangle unit is squared up to 2.5 inches if I can get it open. And the dog ears are missing as well. They have been removed. So now I can press that open. And like I said earlier, I'm probably just going to press mine to the dark. So these are all ready to go. And I'm going to go get everything pressed because everything has now been squared up to 2.5 inches. And then when I get back here to the tabletop, I will lay out the block and we'll see how it goes together. All right, for some reason I've lost my microphone. It's not working, so we'll see how this works without the microphone. I've got the block laid out here on my tabletop, and if you just follow the PDF and just make sure that you're orienting each and every half square triangle within the block correctly. It's basically made up of 9 patches. There are 3 9 patches, and then of course the 6.5 inch square here. You're going to use 27 of the half square triangles. This is the 28th one, which we're not using, so you can save that for another block. Put it in your 2.5 inch scrap box so that you've got that for later. But what I'm going to do here is just simply put these 9 patches together. I'm not going to make you watch me do that. That's kind of boring, but I'm going to sew them all together. And you'll notice there's chevrons here. Make sure as you are sewing that you're or as you lay it out and start sewing, that you're orienting each and every half square triangle properly so that you create that beautiful little chevron, which represents the stripes in this block. Here are the 3 9 patches that I've put together of the half square triangles, and here is the 6.5 inch square. I made sure to square up each of these 9 patches to 6.5 inches, and now I'm going to put this block together, ensuring that my chevrons are actually creating chevrons. I want to make sure that the block goes together properly. Once I get it sewn together, then I will press it and square it up to 12.5 inches. Here are my 2 blocks. This one is really scrappy. I've used various lights and various darks or in tones of red. Some of them are burgundy, some of them have a deep pink. But that's what I have used to create this flag block. And this one is made using 2 11-inch squares, a light and a red. And in a video that I'll be posting later on today, I'll show you how to make that using 2 11-inch squares and creating 32 2.5-inch half square triangles. So I'll show you that later. Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the notifications button so you'll be notified when I put up the new videos. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to grab that PDF that's attached, which has the instructions for this block. And again, if you have not seen my video that teaches you how to scrap up your stash the speedy way and get it ready to use to make beautiful quilts, make sure you check the links in the description box below. So this is week 43 of our Scrappy series. I've got a 52-week series of Scrappy blocks that I have out there. If you have not seen them, you'll want to make sure that you grab that playlist. I'll have a link in my channel there so that you can see all of these Scrappy blocks that we've been producing with our scraps for the last 43 weeks. Have a great week. Hope you're enjoying your holiday, and we will see you soon in another video. This is Lori Dickman, Quilting with Lori. Happy quilting.